Hi guys, it's Jenny with Art for Good. So today we're working with a pastel color palette to create an ocean wave that looks like the sun is sort of melting into the ocean. I'm really excited to talk about how I created this piece. So I'm using a square canvas, and I will put all of the materials that I used and the colors that I used for this video in the description below. On the canvas here, I have a cake pan that is sort of one of those spring form pans that you can take the center out of. I've been using these in a lot of different videos that I've been creating just to help protect some negative space when you're working with fluid art, and it is an amazing effect. I'll actually put a link at the end to a playlist that I've created of some other similar videos. So I'm really just layering. I'm going to do a flip cup technique for the sun. So that's where you essentially just layer a bunch of different colors into a cup and flip it over, and then sort of move it around or tilt it around the canvas. All right, so I'm creating that with these pink colors so that it will look like a sunset effect. As usual, I use a kitchen torch to just help remove any bubbles, and it also helps create some interesting effects with cells forming when the paint's mixed together. So I did my flip cup, and this is where my sunset is going to go, and then I'm going to just continue to layer colors around the outside. A quick tip is that if you want to make it look sort of realistic, you would layer some darker colors around the outside and then sort of work your way lighter as you're getting towards where the sunset would be. This will mimic sort of the light hitting the wave. So there's no rhyme or reason to how I'm putting these colors down. I'm going to use a hairdryer. So this is what they call a chaos pour, where you're just putting a bunch of different colors around, and then you'll use a hairdryer to move the paint around, and it creates a lot of depth with all of those colors interacting with each other. It's a little difficult to see in this video, but the pink and the orange I'm using are actually neon. I've mixed it though with a little bit of white because I wanted it to be a little bit calmer than the traditional neon, but it will dry darker. So then I took the hairdryer and I just sort of moving around in a circular pattern around this cake pan. I did sort of speed up this video so that I could keep it under 10 minutes for you. So trust me, I'm not some kind of superhuman person who can move this fast while I'm doing it. So I encourage you to take your time as you're trying this technique. So I decided to add an additional amount of color here, and I'm adding some white. It's an iridescent white. It's sort of metallic as well to help create the effect of sort of splashing water. I'm also using a little bit of regular titanium white here as well. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add some, just with a craft stick or a popsicle stick that I use to mix my paints, I'm just going to add a little bit in some of the darker areas to help create the illusion of the water sort of barreling around the sun. You can also use a straw for this instead of just breathing on it. And I think yep, there we go. I did pull out a straw just to help control where my breath was going. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take out the cake pan and just fix any spots where it doesn't look like a perfect circle. You can do that with your finger or again using a craft stick. Quick torch just to remove any bubbles. If you're new to acrylic pouring and you'd like to see some other videos and tutorials that I've done for beginners that teach you how to thin the paint, sort of what supplies you need to get started, I'll put a link here to that video so that you can watch it later. I personally got into this form of art about 5 years ago or so. Just sort of was doing it a little bit as a hobby, and then during the pandemic started spending a lot more time painting, and it has truly been such a joy, and it's such a great stress relief to just, start using your brain for creative purposes. I'm also adding some dark purple in here, so just to add contrast. That's very important as you're sort of working on a composition that is going to be interesting to look at. You want some dark areas and some light areas, and I mixed all of these colors as a pastel pattern and felt I needed a little bit more dark, sort of in the areas farthest away from the sun. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry, and I will show you what it looks like at the end. So this is the final piece. I actually, once it was dry, I decided to go back in on that, the round piece where the sun was, and just make it a little bit darker to help offset it from the rest of the painting. So once it's dry, you're gonna do a couple of coats of Kamar varnish, and I'll put a link to that varnish that I use just to help bring out the vibrancy of the colors and protect the painting. But you want to make sure that your paint has dried for a good couple of weeks before you do that. Well, this is all I have for you today. I hope that you will subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And here is a playlist that has more of what I'm calling a cake pan pour, so you can continue watching these videos right here. See you next time.